Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24, reaching you live from Abuja, the nation's capital. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Now the headlines.
And it is extremely necessary because the facility does not exist in Nigeria, not only in Nigeria, in the whole of Western Central Africa.
Executive Council approves establishment of aircraft maintenance facility in Abuja.
And that I will preserve, protect, and defend the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
President Buhari swears in Justice Olukayode Ariwola as substantive Chief Justice of the Federation. Nigeria signs Memorandum of Understanding with Microsoft. 5 million Nigerians to gain digital skills through PACT. Regular eye checks in education could prevent the World Health Organization's estimated 2 billion vision impairment and blindness around the world. Uche Ugochukwu reports that this is the essence of the World Sight Day, with Love Your Eyes continuing as theme from 2021 campaign.
80% of what we perceive comes through our sense of sight, and the eye, the tool, is often neglected by many for reasons like fund and accessibility. The likes of 38-year-old Solomon risk joining the estimated 0.78% of Nigeria's population with visual impairment and blindness due to lack of checks.
I never ever in my life check my eye for anything.
However, 18-year-old Rejoice has battled refractive errors, but for her love for her eyes, she is enjoying her photography.
Checking of my eyes really helped me. The way I view things before, it's not like the way I view now.
Vision impairment and blindness affect people of all ages, but prevalent among persons over 40 years. That is why the 74th World Health Assembly adopted a resolution to assist member states and their partners in their efforts to reduce the burden of eye conditions.
Refractive error is high, glaucoma is high, cataract is also there, but thank God for the people are becoming more aware that when they have cataract, it can actually be resolved by surgery, and it doesn't really take much. Again, more needs to be done in the rural areas, because a lot of them infect their eyes because of they don't have a good system of cleaning themselves up after using the toilet.
World Sight Day is observed annually on the second Thursday of October.
And to further elaborate on the issue of vision is Dr. Oteri Okolo. She is the National Coordinator, National Eye Health Program, Federal Ministry of Health. Thank you, Doctor, for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
All right, the campaign Love Your Eyes started in 2021. What is the level of education like on vision?
Generally in the populace. Okay, we have realized evidence-based based on data that we have, that the level of education on eye care and eye health issues in Nigeria is generally poor. And this is not even areas or people who are not formal education who have been formally educated. This lack of knowledge on eye care issues and where to access eye care services spread across the populace. So that's why we take advocacy days like this, like the World Sight Day, very seriously, to be able to pass across information, knowledge to members of the public and everyone, to ensure that they have some information about eye care. Because apart from being able to access services, one of the important strategies that the Federal Ministry of Health is looking at is engaging with the people in the community and empowering them as regards their eye care. So that means we're giving them the information that they need, to be able to pursue eye promotion even on their own by diet and so many of things that they can do on their own, and also preventive measures, because like was said in the news report, Nigerian data shows that 84% of blindness in Nigeria is avoidable. So you can imagine the prevalence of blindness in Nigeria is 0.78%. Now 84% of that could have been avoided, and a lot of this has to do with education, people having to know what they need to know as regards eye promotion or preventive measures when they have an eye condition, where to assess care.
Okay, now talking about assessing eye care, what does it really take to take care of the eye?
Okay, now
the eyes rather.
Of the eyes, yeah, good, because we have two eyes.
Of course.
Yeah, and eye, like we've said, has so many functions: growth, education, production in the workplace, and all of that. So this affects every strata of society. So there are so many ways in which we can take care of our eyes, and it starts from when a baby is born, and that is what we're saying at the Federal Ministry of Health, that we want to integrate primary eye care into primary health care. A good exam when that baby is born, because there's so many eye conditions that could be taken care of at that age, to prevent blindness and poor vision later in life. Breastfeeding, immunization, good diet, good eye care practices, having a yearly eye exam, which is very, very important, and that's one of the key messages
which most people don't do.
Yes, which most people don't do. You see, it's funny because the eyes are our most important organ. Without our eyes, we can hardly do anything.
King of the body.
Exactly, it's the window to the soul. If you close your eyes, you realize that you are so limited, and then as important as the eyes are, we take it for granted. So a strong message we're trying to pass across to everyone is that have a yearly exam, because you see, apart from the general things that you do, taking care of your eyes, the diet and things like that, there are eye health conditions that occur that at the asymptomatic stage. That what I mean by asymptomatic stage is that it's already there, you don't have symptoms, but damage is already going on. But if you have an eye check with a qualified eye care professional, that can be picked up. Treatment can be put in place and started on time to prevent blindness.
Before we go deep into treatment, what are the causes and remedies for the different vision impairments?
Okay, now,
for example, I don't know if photosensitivity is part of it.
Okay, so we have globally, you have causes of eye care, but now we want to come to Nigeria. We always must be context specific about when we're talking about eye care problems in Nigeria. Now, the major cause of blindness in Nigeria is cataracts. Blindness, and over 40% of blindness in Nigeria is as a result of cataracts. Then just behind that is glaucoma, which accounts for 16.7% of blindness in Nigeria. And the problem with glaucoma is that once the patient is blind, blindness is irreversible. Then you have corneal blindness as a result of all sorts of things people put in their eye, traditional eye medications, they put in battery water, breast milk, and all sorts of things. And then when children have measles, and the interaction between measles and vitamin A deficiency, and then mothers putting in cow dung and cow urine and all sorts of things in their eye. So you have corneal opacity. Then you have so many other causes. Then let's now come to visual impairment, because you also mentioned visual impairment. The most commonest cause of visual impairment in Nigeria is refractive errors. Now you have various levels of refractive errors. You have myopia, which people call nearsightedness, farsightedness, hyperopia, astigmatism, and then another form of refractive error, which we call presbyopia. Presbyopia occurs because of age. It's physiological. Once you're 40, you find it difficult to read small prints, and then you find yourself, stretching
the paper
exactly. So the thing about eye care problems is that it's either you pick them early and you're able to do something about it to conserve vision, and then also all the cost effect, all the treatments for eye care problems are basically cost effective. Now, if you talk about cataract, we have cataract surgery that's available that's going to restore your sight. If you talk about corneal blindness, a lot of things that we could do to prevent corneal blindness. I talked about the cost. So we have eye health promotion, education, telling mothers what to do. That's why I spoke about empowering people, engaging with them, and empowering. And education, it's so key.
I needed to quickly talk about photosensitivity. Most people have the problem.
Okay, now photosensitivity is as a result of when people feel discomfort with light, and we realize that in our society now, we have to. A lot of us have to work with light. It's either you're looking at your phone or you're looking at bright lights on your computer system and things like that. So we are all exposed to light. We are exposed to sunlight also because we live in the tropics. So there are various ways we can help do that. Now, for instance, if you're working with a computer, you could use a screen, you could dim the lights, or you could use spectacles that have what we call anti-reflective properties, and there are various types of lenses that could prevent so much light from getting into your eyes. And then if you find you're working in probably under the sun, probably you're a farmer, you could use all the hats to prevent so much light, or dark glasses general. Yeah.
All right, Dr. Otere Okolo, thank you so much for coming to enlighten us. I have been enlightened. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Federal Executive Council has approved a full business case for the establishment of aircraft maintenance, repair and overhaul facility in the nation's capital, Abuja. Also to be established is a fire truck maintenance and refurbishment center for the aviation industry in Katsina State. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sarika announced this while briefing journalists after the council's meeting. State House correspondent Tadamu Sambo reports.
To be established using the build, operate and transfer model of public-private partnership, the proposed aircraft maintenance, repair and overhaul facility in Abuja is part of government efforts to optimize business opportunities in Nigeria's aviation value chain.
What we envisage by this MRO is to have a huge facility where multiple aisle wide capacity aircraft such as 777, 747s, including the smaller ones of 73s and so on, can be maintained from check A all the way to final check D, A, B, C, and D. And it is extremely necessary because the facility does not exist in Nigeria. Not only in Nigeria, in the whole of West and Central Africa, there is none.
The project has a multi-pronged objectives, including curtailment of capital flight, encouraging foreign investment, enhancing technology transfer to Nigerians, improving aircraft maintenance turnaround time, and generally developing the aviation sector in the country.
The total amount of money to be paid to federal government is $185,750,000. I'm happy to say that gradually our roadmap items that we started in 2016 and chose the way of PPP is happening, and we are glad and excited that this will be a game changer.
And giving details on the approved contract for the establishment of fire truck maintenance and refurbishment center in Katsina State, the minister described it as very critical for the aviation industry.
In the past governments used to ship this firefighting equipment back to Europe where they are manufactured to get refurbished and bring back at a cost, and of course it takes time to do so, and export our labor and our foreign exchange. So the Buhari government decided that we should establish one, and that center will cater for aviation firefighting equipment, including all other firefighting equipments around the country. In fact, it's not going to be limited to only firefighting, it will be for heavy duty vehicles that could be maintained. And the intent and purpose is, as they gain experience, we go into assembly of those trucks here in Nigeria and eventually start to manufacture our own.
About 13 billion naira is to be expended on the entire project. The Federal Executive Council also approved the adoption of the revised national policy on labor migration and its action plan.
Nigerian government is interested in protecting migrant workers who are here with us and our people who go out there. They shouldn't be treated like slaves. Certainly this is a policy that is coming to confront the challenges of illegal migration, illegal employment, exploitative processes, forced labor, smuggling, and human trafficking in our society.
The Federal Executive Council also ratified the International Labour Organization Convention 181, which not only permits the operations of private employment agencies in the country, but also sets standards as regards the way and manner employees, including domestic staff, are to be decently treated and their human rights fully protected. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Up ahead. Senate passes 2023 Appropriations Bill for second reading. Details when we return after this break. Thanks for staying with us. Mobile telephone network NTN has been given the go-ahead to take over and complete the construction of the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway linking Enugu and Anambra states. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola, who announced this approval of the Federal Executive Council, said the project is to be executed under the tax credit scheme. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari had in 2019 signed Executive Order 7 on roads infrastructure tax credit scheme. This is to allow the private sector invest tax liabilities in advance in the development of critical public infrastructure. Several routes, including Apapa Oshodi or Shakin Ojota Expressway in Lagos State, as well as that of Bodo Boni in River State, have been financed as a result of that policy.
Today we have two more. So the first that was approved today was the one by MTN Nigeria PLC, the telecommunication company, to take over and complete the ongoing Enugu-Onitsha Expressway. That road is 110 kilometers, which is being dualized. So you have 110 kilometers times 2. The outstanding works aggregate to about 91 point something kilometers on both sides, if you accumulate it. So this policy is going to allow a steady and sustained stream of funding to completion by MTA.
The amount approved by the government, the minister explained, is 202.8 billion naira.
The second memo also was under the tax credit scheme. This one is with respect to a road in Abia State. Now, the road is called Umuchichi Ususu Umueme GZ Industries Road in Abia. The beneficiary, the private sector beneficiary of the approval, is a company called GZ Industries. So it's a link road to their factory, 3.7 kilometer road.
4.2 billion naira has been approved for the project. The Minister of Police Affairs, Muhammad Magaret Ingadi, also secured a contract approval on behalf of the Nigeria Police Trust Fund for the supply of 60 operational vehicles, as well as an insurance cover for several others at 4.5 billion naira.
The vehicles that were about to supply are to be used for tactical operations, supervision, and strategic deployment in a bid to strategize for better security networking, as well as aid strategic deployment of tactical squads to tackle insecurity across the country. The insurance cover is intended to cover all the vehicles purchased by the Police Trust Fund between 2020 and 2022, involving about 450 vehicles.
The council also approved 592.2 million naira for the procurement of MRI equipment and accessories for the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital, Ile-Ife, Osun State.
Procurement of these equipment, it is strongly believed that most patients that usually travel to Lagos and some other surrounding environment close to Ile-Ife to seek for better medical services will now be able to have the comfort and the leisure of staying back in Ile-Ife to get all the medical services they need in terms of diagnosis and treatment at the Obafemi University Teaching Hospital, Ile-Ife.
The approval, the minister said, will go a long way towards strengthening healthcare services in the teaching hospital, which has been having serious challenges in giving the best of medical care to those in need. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And Justice Olukayode Ariwola has been formally sworn in as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that President Muhammadu Buhari performed the ceremony in fulfillment of the provisions of Section 231, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
And that I will preserve, protect, and defend the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
Justice Olukayode Ariwola takes oath of office before President Muhammadu Buhari as the 18th Chief Justice of Nigeria. Born over 60 years ago in Isheyin, Oyo State, Justice Ariwola bagged his Bachelor of Laws degree in 1980 from the then University of Ife, called to the Nigerian bar and got enrolled at the Supreme Court as a solicitor and advocate in July 1981. The new CJN has been on the bench of the nation's apex court for nearly 11 years, having been appointed in November 2011. Before his elevation to the Supreme Court, Justice Ariwola, a fellow of the International Dispute Resolution Institute, served as Justice of the Court of Appeal in Kaduna, Enugu, and Lagos divisions. He was appointed Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria in June this year.
I believe the law that had taken me this far will continue to support me to do the best for Nigerians. I shall not let down Nigerians because with the support of my brother justices, like I can see all of them are here with me as they were when I was sworn in acting capacity. With their support, we shall not fail Nigerians. We are computerizing already the Supreme Court and all other courts of records so that the delay in filing cases will become a thing of the past.
You're coming on board close to an election year. The judiciary will be very busy. What is your message to politicians?
Politicians should allow the judiciary to function. You know, law is not static. And that's why you have seen that the National Assembly had continued to amend the laws. And it is the law that the courts apply to the facts available. We shall continue to do justice if only Nigerians will allow us to perform and function without any pressure.
Governors of Oyo and Ondo states, as well as a number of justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, were on hand to show solidarity.
He is a very disciplined person. He is a team player, and he is an erudite person. These three adjectives qualifies him.
So what do Nigerians expect from him?
A disciplined judiciary, a selfless judiciary, and a courageous judiciary.
Well, the message from Oyo is we are really, really happy. One of our own is now the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and the good people of Oyo State were thankful to Mr. President for seeing the process through. It's been quite a while when this type of opportunity has knocked on our door. So we counted ourselves quite lucky, and we look forward to supporting him to contribute to the development of the judiciary in Nigeria.
The new CJN, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, succeeded Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, who resigned his appointment on health grounds. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Now, a few days after receiving the 2023 budget from the executive, senators passed the appropriations bill for second reading with emphasis on critical scrutiny of the increase in recurrent expenditure. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports that the budget was referred to the Senate Committee on Appropriations for Budget Defense by ministries, departments and agencies of government.
After Senate suspended its plenary on Tuesday because of the National Honors Award involving two presiding officers and some members, the legislators continued with legislative business Wednesday. After receiving the 2023 budget from the executive last week Friday, senators have considered the provisions of the money bill and passed it for second reading.
All over the world, there's economic problem. And Nigeria is not an exception, but we need to reduce the cost of governance.
There are leakages in even the platform that we use in collecting government revenues.
We need to ensure prompt and effective collection of water bills, or power bills, or health bills, so that all these funds will be used to liquidate the monies that we are borrowing.
Reduction in budget deficit, leakages in revenue generation, and continuous increment in recurrent expenditure, even in years when there was embargo on employment, was of concern.
Don't we also need to look at the size of the bureaucracy of our government? When you have a situation whereby people still go on consistently on foreign trips, local trips, and so on, and many nebulous consultancy. If there is that time or after, we should even investigate. Why is our recurrent expenditure going up? Why is it supposed to go down?
Therefore, I urge my colleagues to approve the second reading of this appropriation bill 2023 for consideration by the Appropriation Committee and its subcommittees.
Desire of this Senate and indeed the National Assembly, the National Assembly, is to consider and pass the budget before Christmas, before the 25th day of December. And for us, our committees, we must be extremely critical, because this time around, I believe that we need to look at every cranny of what the budget proposal is.
Senate passed the Nigeria Police Trust Fund 2023 budget of 65.9 billion, while that of the 2022 FCT budget of 607.9 billion naira passed second reading. Senator Beta Piafi's motion called on the federal government to provide security along the Emoha-Kalabari Road in Rivers State and to commence its rehabilitation and other bad roads in Nigeria, address flooding in parts of Rivers West Senatorial District, Anambra Central, Anambra North, Adamawa and other parts of the country, and provide relief materials to victims.
Needs to make special provision in the 2023 budget to begin the process of addressing this issue of perennial flooding in Nigeria, as the flooding this year has been a major disaster.
Senate adjourned plenary to 15th of November 2022 for budget defense. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Onkwo, NTA News.
You're still watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. The news continues shortly. To stay with us.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament. Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA. Keep a date with the parliamentarians. You guys have it.
This is the network service of the NTA.